Hey everybody, this is Sean.
And Raquel.
And we're from the Dukes of Dice. And today we're going to be taking a look at Anansi and the Box of Stories by Level 99 Games.
This is a beautiful trick-taking game designed by Ken Marr and illustrated by Stephanie Johnson.
So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up for a 4-player game, and we'll show you how that plays on the table, and then we'll come back for our first impressions. All right, so I've got Anansi set up for a 4-player game, and in a 4-player game, you're actually going to take out one of the suits. So I took out the jealousy suit here, and we'll just go ahead and put this to the side. This game does play 3 to 8 players, and depending on the number of players, you're going to take out a certain number of suits. So then we deal out 11 cards to each player in a 4-player game. That's going to leave 3 cards that are left over. We're going to put these to the side. We're not going to need them this particular round, but we'll get to use them in future rounds. I've also got these Fool cards, which are going to come into play at the end of every round. The game end is going to trigger when one player receives 3 of these Fool cards, or when 5 rounds are played. So I'll just put these to the side. So at this point, everyone's able to look at their hand of cards. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take these different animal cards, we're going to shuffle them up, and we're going to put out the number of players plus 1. So we're going to put 5 out. So for the first round, the smallest player gets to pick their animal first. And then in subsequent rounds, you're going to choose a new animal, and that's going to be the player that was named the Fool in the previous round. Again, that has something to do with these Fool cards. So let's say that we're playing this player here. This player is going to go first, and they're going to look at which of these cards they want. So if you notice, if you look at the chameleon here, this is going to be your animal roll for this particular round. It means that every trick that you win at the end of the round is worth 3 points, and you're going to get some sort of special ability. Here, once per round, the chameleon can basically turn a card he plays into a different suit, which is kind of fitting for the chameleon. In contrast, the Anansi is worth 5 points per trick, so it's a lot of points, but they have no special ability. It says the Anansi has no special powers. He must win using only his wits. The leopard is going to get to declare what the trump suit is for a particular round, also worth 3 points. The snake is also worth a good number of points, 4 points. And once per round, they can use their crush ability, which lets them add 2 or subtract 2 from the value of a card being played. And then finally, we have the hornet. And the hornet lets you play 2 cards of a matching suit together. You get to basically add them up, and that counts as a single card of whatever that added value is. But then they have to sit out a round because they've lost an extra card. And what's really cool and what's different from round to round is that we're going to shuffle these up and see different animal cards, so different interactions among them. So let's say the players have drafted their animal rolls like this. We'll get rid of the snake. So before this round begins, the leopard player is going to get to choose the trump suit. Now, the trump suit can get played to basically play over another lead suit, and the highest trump card would win that trick. But I'll explain that here in a second. So the leopard picks up their hand, and they see they've got 4, 7, 9 bravery. They've only got 1 arrogance. They've got 4, 5, 9 friendliness, 2 craftiness cards, 2 strength cards. So maybe they're going to declare bravery is the trump suit. So there is no hare in play. The hare roll would let that player go first. So instead we'll determine it randomly, and we'll just say that that we go first over here. So we look at these cards, and if you'll notice, on the cards you have different animals. So the suits aren't the animal, the suits are the particular trait: arrogance, craftiness, friendliness, bravery, etc. You'll notice some of them have spiders on them. These Anansi these spiders are going to get added up at the end of the round to possibly determine the Fool. So if possible, you don't want to collect too many spider cards in tricks that you win. So what's going to happen here is they're going to play out 1 card. Everyone else in clockwise order is going to have to follow if they can. That means that if I play an arrogance card, if they have an arrogance, they have to play it. If they have one, they have to play it, and so on. If you don't have an arrogance card, then you can play whatever suit you want, including the trump. But if you have this suit, you have to play it. So let's say that we play Arrogance 4. That's probably not a great play, but we'll go with it. This player, they have an Arrogance 1 and 5. They figure, you know what, I'm probably not going to win with an Arrogance 5, so I'll play Arrogance 1. This player, we know, has Arrogance 9. And so Yeah, we'll go ahead and play that. And then this player, looking at their hand, has an arrogance 7 and 8. So it doesn't really matter which one they play. It's not going to beat the 9. And the values do run from 1 to 9. So you know that the 9 is going to usually win a trick unless there's some craftiness happening from some of the different rolls. So in this case, this player has the highest lead suit, which is arrogance. So they're going to take all of these and they're going to stack it off to the side here. All right. Now, since this player won the trick, they're going to get to lead. So they look at their hand. What they might want to do is try and maybe get rid of some cards so that they can possibly play off suit. So let's see here. Let's say that maybe they just want to really win this. So friendliness 9. All right. Next in order, this player has no friendliness cards, so they can go ahead and play whatever suit they want. They could even play a trump suit if they want, but a 5 or 6 is not great. So they're probably just going to try and get rid of a low value card. Let's say they get rid of this craftiness 3. All right, we look over here. Is there a friendliness card? Yeah, there sure is. Well, we're not going to beat the 9. Let's get rid of the 1. Over here, we have a 6, 8, 7. Well, this is great because you know what? They're going to win this trick, but we're going to throw in this spider card. All right, so they've won this hand. This comes back over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it perpendicular to the previous trick. This way we can differentiate the tricks and be able to count them more easily at the end of the round. So they're going to play again. The leopard plays another friendliness card. They thought, yeah, friendliness was pretty good. Not many people had great friendliness cards. This player, again, doesn't have any friendliness cards. So you know what? They're going to play off suit. They're going to play their biggest trump card. So they're going to play bravery 6. So this player still has to play friendliness if they have it, and they do. And again, they know, well, I'm not going to beat I'm not going to win. And then this player has to get rid of one of the friendlinesses again. Now, here's the thing. Let's say that this player had bravery 7. They can't choose to play it because they have the lead suit. They have to play it. So in this case, the Anansi now wins this hand. There are no spiders on it, so that's good. We put them off to the side here. And now they get to lead. And maybe they're going to lead with strength 7. Let's see what that does. Strength 7. There are no strengths over here. Now, they could play one of their trump cards. They have these two bravery cards. Problem is, there's 2 more opportunities for other trumps to get played, so the bravery 3 probably won't be great. So maybe they'll just get rid of this last friendliness card. And then over here, have to play a strength. You know what? Let's win this hand. Either the 8 or the 9 would have won it. Either way. And then they have to play. They'll get rid of the 3. So this player wins them. And it comes over here. All right, let's see if we could let's use a special ability here to maybe make this interesting. So this player over here thinking that, you know what, maybe I think the Arrogance 9 has already been played. So I'm going to play this Strength 8, but I'm going to use the Chameleon ability, which is going to turn this into an Arrogance. So I turn this sideways to kind of show I've used that ability. So this is an Arrogance 8. So this player over here, well, they don't have any arrogance cards, so they're going to play this trump, which is a spider. So that's potentially problematic because if they do win, they're going to give themselves a spider. This player does have an arrogance card, another arrogance 8. Notice those are tied. It's kind of interesting if the trump card weren't involved and these both tied, then in this case it would go to this because this is the natural arrogance card. Over here, this player, well, they have an arrogance card, they have to play it, but they're not going to beat the trump card. Let's say that this player actually had an arrogance card that they could have played, so now the Hornet can use their ability to play 2 cards at once. We turn it sideways. 6 and 3, 2 cards that match suit, so now it would be Arrogance 9, and they would win the trick. But really, this is going to go back to the Leopard, Again, put them like this. So what I've done here is kind of advance the game to the end of the round so we can see how scoring works. And notice every player still has one card left in their hand. That's because that one card is going to carry over to the next round. So let's add up some points here. We have the Anansi, who has 1, 2, 3 tricks. That's worth 15 points. Over here, the Hornet has 1, 2 tricks. That's worth 3 points for 6. The Chameleon has 1, 2 for 6 points. And then the Leopard has 1, 2, 3 points for 9. All right. The next thing we do is we look at all of their spiders. So this player has none. This player has, over here. And I didn't mention the wild. The wild can basically be considered any suit, but notice there's 2 wilds. There's a wild 3 and a wild 4, and they both have spiders on them. All right. The Leopard has spider, spider. Oh boy, spider. And then the Anansi player has spider. Okay, that's it. So now we add up all of the spiders, the actual face value here, 1 point, 12 points, and then 17 spider points. So these aren't actually points for scoring, it's just going to determine who the fool is. So the fool says, a player with the fool cards gets the following at the end of the game. -5 points for one of these, -10 for 2, and then you lose the game immediately if you happen to have 3 of these. So the Leopard now has a fool, which is worth -5 points, and possibly bringing them closer to completely losing the game. And once again, this is going to continue until either 5 rounds have been played or one player has 3 fool cards. Whoever has the most points is the winner. So if that's all this were, then this would be a pretty good, fun family trick-taking game. However, there's a lot of other variants to this. So for example, there's a team play variant that you can do, but there's also these different trait cards. And what you're going to do if you decide to play with the trait card variant is that however many roll animal cards you're putting out, you're going to put out that many trait cards. And then you're going to put the animals on top of the trait card. So people are now drafting these different combinations. So for example, there's the trait Crafty, which says score 1 extra point for each craftiness card collected, and they have those for the various suits. There's Prudent, which says that every trick that doesn't have an Anansi card in it, the spider cards, is worth double points. Lucky says before finding the fool, you can remove any one Anansi card from the tricks in your score pile. So these add some extra variability to the game. Now, if that's not enough, and you want to really get crazy, we've got these offsuit variants. So now, if you play a card offsuit because you don't happen to have that card that suit that was led, you get to take an offsuit ability, kind of like in Mike Fitzgerald's Diamonds. So for example, if you happen to play the Leopard, you get to remove an Anansi card from one of your tricks. The remove card set aside for the rest of the hand. If you have the Hare, you get to lead the next trick. If multiple hares are played off suit, the player that played the most recent one gets to lead. The Chameleon says changes the current lead suit when played. The Anansi card has no effect. But you can see right here that between this offsuit variant, between the different roles and traits, the team variant, there is an absolute ton of variability in this game. So that is how you play Anansi. Those are some of the variants. Let's head back and see what I think about it. All right, so first impressions of Anansi. Well, I mean, I really enjoy trick-taking games. I love games like Diamonds and then the new Trick of the Rails, which I did a review of a while ago. You like them too, right?
Yeah, I'm becoming more fond of trick-taking games, but generally I wasn't before, but
you tend to like the ladder climbing games. Like you like the 3-player Chimera, you like Haggis, right?
yes.
So, and in those games, you're just trying to shed your cards quickly. And so they're different games, but you're playing in tricks. So there's some similarities. Do you think you have a preference, just generally speaking, trick-taking versus ladder climbing or shedding games?
Probably more the latter.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I don't know which I prefer. I enjoy both styles. And as far as a standard trick-taking game with a trump suit, I think this is really good. In fact, it's kind of deceiving because you have the cutesy animal art, which I think is awesome.
Right.
I think it looks really good, and it's a really solid trick-taking game. And we actually got taught this by Brad Talton at BGG last year, and he kind of sat down and he said, "Oh, well, it's kind of a family weight trick-taking game, right?"
Right. So I thought it was going to be a lot easier and just more.
Yeah. But there's a decent amount of depth to it here. And the fact that you can kind of control your level of play, if you just want to play with the animal cards, or if you want to play with an animal and a trait card on top of it, or if you want to play with the offsuit variant like you do in Diamonds, where basically if someone leads with bravery, and then you don't play bravery, you play something offsuit, you get some sort of bonus action. So there's a lot of different ways to play this game. I think how many of those have you played? I don't think you've played the offsuit variant, right?
No, I haven't played that.
So that adds a little extra wrinkle, a little extra bit of depth. And what I found with trick-taking games is there's always kind of a period of adjustment where you're trying to figure out exactly how this game works. Because while there's a lot of similarities in strategy from one trick-taking game to the next, there are some things unique to these really good kind of off-the-wall trick-taking games. Whether it's Diamonds or whether it's this Anansi, you kind of have to get a feel for that. Did you notice that?
Yeah, and the one thing I did like is the spiders.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to me, so obviously most times you want to win a trick because that's how you're getting points. But some of the cards are those spiders that you're collecting. And so sometimes you're going to go out, you're going to throw out a card intending to lose the trick because you know you're going to load someone up with spiders. That is crazy. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's something out there that does something similar. I just can't think of any. But as far as that little extra wrinkle, that little extra bit of depth to it where you're intentionally trying to throw it. And I know we've had some games where we've realized someone's doing that and you have to play, you have to follow suit with your higher card.
Right.
And it's come down to like, oh, well, I know you have 9 spiders and I have 10. Well, here you go. Here's your
your 11th.
Yeah, your 10th, 11th, 12th spider, whatever. It's really good. And it's really interesting that it does that.
Yeah, and you actually got me with those spiders the last game we played of it.
Yeah, that's true. So far, and I've played this, I think, 3 times now. You've played it twice?
I think I've played it 3 times.
Have you played it 3 times?
I think so.
I mean, 3 different instances?
Yeah, I think so.
Did we play it more than once at BGG?
I think we played it more than once.
But maybe I've played it more than that too. But there's a ton of variability here because, like I said, not only are you drafting these animal cards every round, but then possibly also drafting animal and trait cards. So you're seeing these kind of interesting combinations that you may not see from game to game. And then if you want to throw on the offsuit variant on top of it, I mean, there's just a ton of replayability here. And that's not even something... you're not necessarily looking for variability in a trick-taking game. Like, you're not looking for that in Diamonds, for example. It's just such a good quality game and interesting decisions, regardless every time you play. And this has that, and it's got that variability on top of it.
Right.
So, I think fantastic gameplay, good depth of gameplay, good variability, which you don't expect for a trick-taking game, and then fantastic art.
Yeah. I definitely like the art. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too. So ultimately, I think this is a fantastic production from Level 99 Games. Fantastic gameplay, fantastic art, the whole 9 yards. So my first impression of this is very strong. This is a strong recommendation from me.
I also recommend it. It's a great family game. It's a great game just to...
Well, it's a great family game. Not quite as simple as Brad might have you believe, but that's okay. I think you can start at that lower level, though.
Absolutely.
And build up from there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for our first impression of Anansi from Level 99 Games. Until next time, this is Sean.
And Raquel.
And we'll catch you later.